Hey guys, what up? This is Matt, and today is the beginner's guide to Facebook ads. Just as many coaches would do as you're learning a sport or learning something new, we're not going to jump right into the Facebook platform because that's not where you start learning how to be great at Facebook ads. The best place to start with becoming great at Facebook ads is in learning how to do these things we're going to talk about. So this is probably not going to be an extremely popular video. This is probably going to piss a lot of people off, and that's totally cool because I strongly believe the most success that you will create in your Facebook advertising, whether you're an agency or whether you're just marketing your own product, the number one success that you're going to create is by creating great headlines. So let's talk about the number one thing is creating a great headline. Now, why do I talk about creating headlines? That is a sentence or like just a few words put together that are going to stand out to that user as they are scrolling. That's the number one thing that's going to get people to stop. And I'll talk in a moment about what that is in terms of stopping and what that language means. So the number one thing that you need to work on is a great headline. The number two is something that grabs attention. Attention. And then number three is something that makes sense. And then four, something that where they understand their competition. So competitive analysis. This is it. This is it. Like, honestly, that's it. This is the success that you are going to have because, listen, once you nail these things, once you get these things down, and we'll go through and explain these in detail, but once you get these four things down, it really doesn't matter the buttons you click inside of Facebook. It doesn't matter if you're posting to Instagram or Facebook or, posting to the, the audience network, or sorry about that, like somebody just walked by, or any of those things. It doesn't matter what it is that you're clicking on. It doesn't matter what it is that you're setting up inside of there. And honestly, it doesn't matter if you're targeting, this person or that person, or, you'll eventually figure those things out. Because if you can hit these things, you can get some success, you can keep testing new things. But the number one problem that I see over and over again, I have people that set up, the ads correctly. They'll set up the targeting correctly. They'll set up the ad correctly. They'll set all these things up. And I've had thousands of people reach out to me and said, Matt, I cannot get Facebook ads to work. And these are the things that they are struggling with. This is it. It's just this. If you can't do this, then you're not going to create success. It doesn't matter what button you click inside of Facebook. It doesn't matter, what you set up. It doesn't matter what your landing page looks like. It doesn't matter what your email follow-up sequence looks like. It doesn't matter if you're using, messenger ads or if you're using, whatever ads. It doesn't matter. None of that matters if you can't do this effectively. So you can trip and fall over money. You can trip and fall over sales. You can trip and fall over business for your company if you can do these things effectively. So now let's jump in and talk about these things. I can never draw these brackets very well, but it always looks kind of stupid, kind of like a weird forehead or something. But let's jump in and talk about these things. So headlines. Your headlines start with the ad, and then that ad carries over into your landing page. So there are a couple of different ways to do your ads. You can do them as an image. You can do them as a video. I like both. I definitely like video. If you're really convincing and really good on video, do video. Do video ads. I swear you're going to love it. Now, if you're not that convincing on, in video, if your client can't create video content for some reason, use images. But most people, if you can be convincing on video, use video. Okay, cool. So we're setting up our ad, right? So you have your little avatar image, make it a professional image, write some text here. We'll talk about the text in a second. So then you'll have this, and this will either be an image or this will be a video. So it's either an image or video, whatever that is. In the last video, we talked about social stacking in the Facebook advertising strategies of 2018. We talked about social stacking. So we talked about, getting a bunch of comments, a bunch of likes, a bunch of engagement. That's all fantastic stuff. Go ahead and do that stuff. I'll probably end up doing a video just based upon social stacking. I've gotten some questions on that. But so here, now we have the opportunity to put text in a couple of different places. You can put some text below, you can put some text on the image, and you can put some text up top. Use these resources very, very intelligently, because as people are scrolling, you have a very short amount of time. The success or the failure of your Facebook advertising is based upon the first 500 impressions, IMP, first 500 impressions, and how people interact with your ad in those first 500 impressions. So if you show to 500 people, you show this ad, we'll talk about the text in a second. If you show this ad to 500 people and people are not engaging with it, you will get, if it's, bad, you will get a relevance score of, say, 5 or less. If it's good, if you have good engagement, then you'll get a relevance score of 6 or more. And that's what we're going for. We want a relevance score of 6 or more. You want an 8, you want a 9, you want a 10. How do you see the relevance score? You click into the ad, you click through the campaign, through the ad set, into the ad, and then it will show you, based upon your dashboard there, it'll show you the relevance score. And if it doesn't show it, go ahead and click down the little filter, change it over to show relevance score. It'll be in your custom filter, and you can set all that stuff up. Pretty easy stuff to figure out once you get it figured out. So the importance is, with those 500 people scrolling, these people don't know who you are, right? They might not know who you are. They might not know who your business is. They might not know your product. They might not know any of these things. And the success or failure of Facebook advertising usually comes in marketing to cold traffic. Because if you always have just warm traffic and people know who you are, at that point in time, yeah, you could just pretty much throw anything online. And I've literally had clients that have no idea what they're doing, just click buttons, and they end up making money because people know who they are. They're a celebrity, they're popular, people have already bought their product, people know who they are, whatnot. Fantastic, that's great, great for them, right? Now for you, people don't know who you are. So therefore, yes, we need to figure out how to put ads in front of people so they stop scrolling. So the first thing, you want to get some text here. You want to identify who they are, who, and what you have, what you're doing, what, and how. So you want to hit who, you want to hit what, and you want to hit how. What does that mean? The text up here needs to hit who. So I always do things like, if I'm marketing to real estate professionals, right? Or so that's B2B. Or if I'm doing B2C, I could be marketing properties, right? So I could say, hey, are you looking for a home in this area? I've identified the who, right? And kind of the what already, but the what is your offer. The what is the offer. So are you looking for a home in this area? I have the top 10 properties in that area that you cannot find on the MLS. Click here and you can download a link. So that's who, that's what, that's how. And it's not that hard, right? So we want to put, some little emojis or, whatever gets people to stop. We want it to make sense. We want grammatically, it needs to make sense. We need to put that right here in clear and concise, because as they're scrolling, and as long as this is a professional picture and, everything totally looks legit, then we'll get some sort of activity. But who, what, and how. You need to hit that in your top. That's how I like to do it. I mean, definitely you can do clickbait and you can do things like that where, you do something that's just like, you won't believe what, whatever. I don't like clickbait. I don't market with clickbait. I don't feel that clickbait is valuable. I want it to be valuable to the end user and I want it to be valuable to the client. So I don't market with clickbait. So I don't do any of that. I do who, what, and how. And the reason why I do that is because it's going to give the best user experience for everybody. It's good for me, it's good for my client, it's good for the end user because it's exactly what they're looking for, and we're not just randomly signing people up to stuff or tricking people into signing up to things. Second, we want this to be super engaging, whether it's an image or a video. I want to put some text in here. So I'll either put text, up above or down below on the image, and I'll put some text. And sometimes I'll make these texts be objections, depending on what the objections are. So in that example, when I was just talking about real estate, some of the text could be like, you will not find these on Zillow, or cannot find these properties on Zillow, or you can't find these anywhere. That could be an objection. Like, oh, why would I download this when I can just go here? So if I'm, advertising, teaching people how to do Facebook ads, I could say something like, this is the secret, and this is my secret to generating, I don't know, $100,000 with a, $5,000 ad spend on Facebook ads. I've never taught this before. So it could be something where, people are like, hey, I've already seen all that stuff. And if I do some text in the image here that would say, I've never shared this before, it's like, oh, wow, I need to click on that, right? Because that's your objection. So up here is who, what. So it's, info about the product or about the offer, right? I do objections in this area, objections. And then this text down here, like the text below the image, below the video, I make the text there be kind of the, what to expect. And the reason why I do that is you want to sell people on the end result. You don't necessarily want to sell them on the thing, right? You don't want to sell them on the actual thing. Like, it's not like, hey, come and grab my Facebook ads course. It's going to, it is by far the best Facebook ads course ever created in the history of the world, right? That's not good to put up here. Like, hey, come grab the #1 Facebook ad course ever created. No, that's not it. That's not what's going to get them to click. Now, if I put that in what to expect, they read this. If this is convincing enough, what to expect, oh, there's a little bit of text here. What's going to happen? Okay, well, you're going to receive 5 free trainings that are going to help you with your breakthrough. You're going to receive this. You're going to receive that. So I do more of the what to expect down here, and I do less of the what to expect up in here. This is more selling them the end result. This is more selling them the who, what, and how of like what that information is. So, hey, come and see how, I'm just making stuff up right now. Come and see how we did $100,000 from $5,000 in Facebook advertising. So simple, even your dog could do it. Something that's like, oh, wow, yeah, that's funny. And then I have a picture of a dog or, on a keyboard or something like that. Gets people to stop, right? If that's my brand, if that's what I want to do, that gets them to stop. That gets their attention. They understand who, hey, great for Facebook agencies, right? So it's the who, it's the what, it's the how. I got them, engagement. Boom, they stopped, they clicked. Off the first 500 impressions, I end up getting a relevant score of 9 because people love dogs and computers, people love ironic things, whatever. That's it. That is it. The success of Facebook advertising is in this right here. It's not even really the rest of this stuff, but I guess I kind of talked about, grabbing their attention, making sense, competitive analysis. I'll talk about that in a second, but this is it. This is it. It's nothing you click on inside of Facebook. It's nothing that you set up. It's literally nothing. None of that. Absolutely none of it. And some of you are going to be like, oh, well, newsfeed converts at, 80% higher than, when you put it in the right-hand column. So honestly, it doesn't matter. Click around, test things. But once you get a good ad, once you are clearly able to identify, grab people's attention, take people through, have them understand what it is that you're doing, take them after the click, take them over to a landing page that has the same text, that has the same offer, has the same opportunity, has an image, reinforces the sale with some bullet points. Or maybe it isn't even a sale, but all of this text just reinforces what you did right there. That's all it's doing. Reinforcing on that promise, keeping the good headline, having them click and then open up to a box where they can sign up, take an offer, and then that takes them through the process. That's it. It doesn't need to be super complicated. This isn't this isn't rocket scientist type stuff. It's pretty simple. Understand what people are looking for. Have this offer make sense. Grab their attention. Have a great headline. Have a great offer. And if it doesn't work, you put something up, you spend $5 or $10 and it doesn't work, turn it off. Try something else. Try a different ad. Put it up. If it doesn't work, then try something else. There are so many different ways to do this, and there's so many different ways to advertise. There are literally millions of ways to advertise your product. So keep testing. So there are a couple of different ways to break down what could be wrong. So to troubleshoot some of the issues, I'll just put a little line here. Troubleshoot some of the issues. Possible issues could be the ad text. Let's say the text. The ad image. And your target audience. So those would be the top 3 things. So if you're not getting clicks, if you're not getting engagement, your relevant score is a 5 or less, you would have to take a look at your ad text, your ad image, and your target audience. Those could be the things that could be wrong. Now, if you're getting a ton of clicks and you're not getting conversions, then it's going to be something on the landing page or your target audience. Or perhaps you're just not making sense and people are clicking and they don't know what they're clicking on, and you're not being clear and people aren't signing up because they don't really understand. Maybe this isn't congruent. There could be many different issues, but most of the issues I see with people beginning with Facebook ads is just getting the click, just getting the engagement, just getting the high relevant score. Once you have a high relevant score on an ad, that's fantastic. Keep switching the landing page until eventually you find something that actually works. Or you could retarget to people, do all sorts of crazy advanced stuff. But the first problem in becoming a Facebook expert, the first problem in becoming good at advertising in Facebook is understanding the headline, grabbing their attention, having it make sense. And I'm going to talk about the competitive analysis right now. So with all this being said, this is talking about one company. Let's talk about that competitive analysis, the competitive edge. This is the thing that's going to make you stand out, because if I'm running around and I'm selling this marker, for example, and I'm saying, greatest marker in the world, absolute greatest marker, and I'm out there advertising and everyone knows, markers, right? Like, let's just assume that the whole world is, savvy about markers and whatnot. And if I'm advertising this thing and I'm saying greatest marker in the world, da 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 da, and then I'm advertising at $10 for this single marker, when realistically you could get a pack of like 50 of these for $10, and people are just going to be like, why would I ever do that? Why would I take that offer? That's a horrible offer. Competitive analysis, understanding who your competitors are, understanding how you beat your competitors. Do you beat them on price? Do you beat them on quality? Do you beat them on value? Do you beat them on, the speed? Do you beat them on, how it's going to make you feel? How do you beat your competitor? How do you win? So what you have to do is not only understand how your product wins against your competitor product, how does your product win against your competitor product? Not only that, but you need to understand what the person is thinking in regards to as they see the ad, right? Are you clearly identifying that your product is better? Let me give you some examples. So if it's a common, worldwide known that, say, teachers who use this marker have a serious problem with, erasing them, for example. I'm just making stuff up real quick. So you'd have to put in your product and your competitor and your problem that you're solving. So if teachers, I've identified I've identified a market. If teachers are frustrated and they are rioting, they are marching on City Hall because their markers are running out of ink. Like, this is a phenomenon. This is a worldwide problem that these markers are running out of ink. You've identified that issue, right? Now you can show that issue by maybe having a video of a marker in a time lapse that's like drawing for like an hour, and you're just like, oh my goodness, this is mind blowing. Or, some mind blowing thing. Oh my God, this is the solution. We have an exalted marker. Oh my, this is the end. Like, if you get to that point and you have something like that you can advertise, make that part of this. Make that part of your ad. Stand out of the crowd, stand out with that thing that you have to show. So if you can identify that frustration, if you can identify the competitive analysis in terms of why your product or why your thing is better than the other guy, and you can identify with that, because you know the person, you know your target audience, you know what frustrates them, then you win. Then it's kind of a shortcut because you take that competitor analysis, you put it right out front, but most people don't have that. Most people aren't solving some, worldwide catastrophic event like, some miracle thing that you've created or some miracle thing. Most of us haven't done that. But if you have, and you can identify that, and you can target your competitors, for example, we're creating a supplement line right now. We're going to target our competitors. When we target our competitors, right, and we advertise stating what our thing does that none of the other competitors do, it's going to be like, oh my goodness, like that's the reason why I need to buy this product. So if you're selling something, you're selling markers, you're selling something, and you can't find that competitive edge, and it just sucks, and there's a million people advertising the same thing, maybe it's time for you to think about going and finding something else to advertise. And maybe it's tough love. Maybe it's tough love saying that thing that you've been trying to sell for years and years and years isn't going to work. So I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, maybe that's just tough love. But in the end, if you're trying to advertise on Facebook and you can hit these things, you can carve out an audience for yourself, you can show up those first 500 impressions, which should only cost you a couple bucks to do. Like I see a lot of people that will advertise, $100, $200, $300, $400, $500. I talked to a guy this morning. He advertised $2,000 and got like 0 engagement. And I'm like, why'd you spend $2,000? It's not going to get better. If you have a relevance score of 5 or less, you're burning money, literally burning money, because that money is just going to Facebook. It's an auction. So inside of the auction, you are saying, I will pay more money to show, even though my ad sucks, I will pay more money in the auction, because the higher this score is, like if I have a relevance score of 10, which all of my ads have 8, 9s, and 10s when I'm running them, as I'm running my ad with a relevance score of 10, I'm going to pay much less money for the same click as that person that's trying to run against me with a relevance score of 3. So that person is just going to keep advertising and keep advertising. Meanwhile, I'm getting crazy clicks for crazy cheap. And that person is just going to keep advertising against me and keep, fighting against me and battling against me. And I'm just going to keep winning, because if I can afford to pay 20, 30 cents per click, whereas that other person is paying $2, $3 per click for the same click just because his ad is terrible, I'm going to keep winning. Over and over and over again, I'm going to keep winning because I can convert 30% of them. Say they can convert 30%. I'm going to spend 10 times less money, therefore have 10 times more profit, therefore have 10 times more that I can reinvest back into my ads. So your relevance score, doing this is the number one thing that you need to do. Forget everything that's inside of the platform. Forget all of that right now. Just focus on this and what it's going to take to get a high relevance score. If you can do that, you win with Facebook ads. Thank you guys so much for joining in. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to check out all my other videos. I'm dedicated to helping you guys with your Facebook ads. Drop a question down below if you have any questions. I will be super duper fast to answer them. And also be sure to grab a copy of my book, The $1 Million Plan, Leveraging Technology at Scale. I've sold tens of thousands of copies of this thing using Facebook ads and using these marketing strategies. And yeah, you should grab a copy because it's amazing. Have an awesome day. All right, see you guys.